Welcome to Chiefs Chat, episode 22. And in this episode, I've got a special guest once again, Trintan. He's a great guy. He's incredibly sexy. Now we're going to talk about, yeah, exactly, I did say it all. Now we're going to talk about not just the Chiefs in this episode. We've got kind of an overview of the entire league as a whole. And we're just going to go division by division and talk about who we think is going to make the playoffs, who we think has the best shot at making the playoffs, and who we think could underperform in the coming next 5 weeks of the NFL season. So, we're wrapping up the regular season, going into the playoffs. So we're going to first talk about the AFC East. What do you think about the Bills?
I think the Bills are probably going to take that one for sure in the playoffs. Dolphins are going 7-4. I don't really see them contending as a playoff team.
Exactly. Yeah.
Josh Allen is doing really well.
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. The Buffalo Bills with an 8-3 record right now. The defense has underperformed, in my opinion. But the later half of the season has boded well. Has been an improvement for their defense, in my opinion. And Josh Allen was playing like an MVP level quarterback at the beginning of the season. But now he's since kind of stepped down from that position. I don't think he's in contention at all. But Josh Allen, I think he's just an incredible quarterback overall. I think he's taken a huge jump from year 2 to year 3, and he's just playing like an absolute solid guy. I think he's a franchise quarterback. When you really think about it, he's got an incredible amount of arm strength, and he's just got a lot of weapons on that offense. I think Stephon Diggs, he's been playing great. He's an incredible wide receiver. He's on my fantasy team, so I would know. But overall, I think this Bills offense is super solid. The defense is improving. And you look at the Dolphins, I think they need a few more years to really find an identity as a team. Tua is an incredible guy. He's been winning some games for the Dolphins, but I don't see them doing anything in the playoffs if they make the playoffs. And in my personal opinion, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year at all. So, we'll end up seeing. And Tua, he's a super confident young guy, but overall, I just think Ryan Fitzpatrick has been kind of sad on the bench, but Tua, he's obviously kind of taken over. But I
think Ryan Fitzpatrick should look for a trade for sure.
Definitely, yeah. There's plenty of teams that I think he would play solid on.
Imagine him on the Broncos. That'd be sick.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Fitzpatrick. They've got a solid system too. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he'd be a perfect fit on the Broncos. But in my personal opinion, if I was Ryan Fitzpatrick, I wouldn't want to jump to another team because he's been on so many different teams. Got to get exhausting at some point. But that's just. You do your thing, Ryan Fitzpatrick. We love you. You have a great beard. So, next division, we got the AFC West. Not much to talk about here. All right, we got the Chiefs at 10-1 and the Raiders at 6-5. The Chiefs have pretty much.
That's a close contender, really. So
yeah, exactly.
Chiefs pretty solid playoff spot.
Broncos at 4-7. They're not doing anything. They
Actually, I want to look at the Chiefs' schedule.
Yeah.
Broncos, that's a win. Dolphins win. Falcons, Chargers, both winning those as well.
Saints is the big game that we want to talk about.
Saints is a big game, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Saints going 9-1, I believe. So,
yeah,
9-2.
No, they're not. 9-2, I believe. Yeah, 9-2. They have 2 losses. They are the first seed in the NFC, so that's a big game because it's a potential matchup in the Super Bowl. So that's one we got to watch out for. The Saints are a very solid team. They haven't done much in the playoffs recently, but when it comes to the regular season, they've pretty much dominated. But yeah, that's going to be a tough game for the Chiefs. I think we're going to end up pulling out the W. I don't see any reason as to why we don't go 15-1 because this team is just super solid. And, the Chiefs, obviously, my favorite.
Just the Chiefs, man.
Kansas City Chiefs right
there.
You
can't go wrong with the Chiefs.
Facts.
And we're not. I know we close game against the Chargers last time, but it's Week 17, and Andy Reid's going to be playing really hard against them. So.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. And I wouldn't be surprised if we rested our starters during that game. Depending on where we are in the playoff race, if we still have a shot at getting that number 1 seed, and I think when you take a look at the Steelers right now, undefeated, I think we do have a shot at taking that 1 seed. So we'll see. But moving on to the
AFC North.
Yeah, AFC North.
Well, Steelers going 10-0 right now.
Yeah.
Browns are 8-3 over the Ravens, who are 6-4.
Yeah.
They're playing each other Week 13, I believe.
Yeah.
So their game is going to be really, really, really important to who's getting in the playoffs.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't necessarily think the Browns will be in the playoffs, but it is a possibility that if the Browns were to beat the Ravens that game, the Ravens wouldn't make the playoffs this year.
Exactly. Now, this is becoming increasingly common to think that the Browns are going to make the playoffs because they've been winning a lot of games. And when you look at the Ravens, they've been kind of a
win streak.
Yeah, exactly. And they've been kind of a train wreck when you look at the Ravens. They've
lost 2 in a row.
Lost 2 in a row, yeah. But Here's something that a point that I want to make here. You look at the point differential, all right? The Ravens, they've scored 268 points and they have allowed 195, which is extremely low when it comes to, especially when you take into account the amount of games we've played this year. That's only a step down from the Steelers, who we all know is probably the best defense in the league. They've been playing out of their mind this year. And the Ravens, when you look at their point differential, it's pretty solid. I mean, you've got at least a plus 60 point differential in the direction of the Ravens, so that's very good. But the Browns, okay, at 8-3, they've got a negative point differential. Okay, they have allowed 286 points and they've scored 265. So what that's telling me is they are pulling out in close games, and when they lose big. All right, and that is a big, that's not good. That's a warning sign for me when it comes to the Browns.
It's kind of like Ravens, Browns week 1. They lost pretty
bad. They lost horribly to the Ravens in week 1, and that's something that we got to look at too. I mean, I think this Browns team, they've done a good job at finding an identity. I still think they're searching for a true team identity, but I think they've done a good job at really working as a solid, cohesive unit as a team. Baker Mayfield is improving week by week, so that's something we got to watch for. But the Browns, I don't see them as a legitimate contender. I think the Ravens, they're a solid group that plays well on defense, and when they can get Lamar Jackson cooking, I mean, they can win games. I mean, that's just how it is for the Ravens. Obviously they need him back very badly. He's on the COVID list right now, and he will not play against the Steelers. So that's a big loss right there.
I feel like the Ravens do fall a little bit under the line when it comes to important games, for sure.
That's true, yeah, honestly. Especially this year.
Under pressure, they aren't doing too hot.
Lost to the Steelers in a close game when they first met. Lost to the Titans in a close game.
And they lost to us as well. In an important game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's not in their division, it's an important game.
Yeah, any game against the AFC for the Ravens is an important one because they're trying to build a case for the playoffs. And right now, the Ravens are on the outside looking in, so they got to step it up, and I think they will. Yep. So that's my personal opinion on the Ravens. So.
And then you have the Bengals, who are 2-8.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Joe Burrow.
Exactly. Yeah, Joe Burrow. He was on pace to break rookie records. I mean, he was having such a great season.
He was a great season, but that O-line can't keep him protected.
Exactly. That O-line is just not good.
It's not good.
Cleveland.
They need to protect that guy. They need to take notes from the Chiefs O-line.
Exactly. Yeah, we've been doing a good job, especially recent weeks, at being able to protect Patrick Mahomes. So that's a solid. But the Bengals. I mean, come on. I mean, you gotta. Be able to figure out how to build a team around Joe Burrow. Obviously, not having him is bad. But, I think they'll figure it out. Joe Burrow is a super solid quarterback for the Bengals. So, I mean, that's the AFC North. Now, look at the AFC South. We got a close race with the Titans and the Colts here.
I believe the Titans are probably going to take that, though.
Yeah, Titans, I think they're super solid. A very solid group. Made it to the AFC Championship last year, and not a lot of people expected that.
They took out both the big teams.
Yeah, honestly, the Ravens.
The Chiefs.
Yeah, took out the Ravens, and who else did they take out?
Patriots,
yeah. Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. They pretty much cleaned up the AFC for the Chiefs. I mean, when you really think about it, they really cleaned up the AFC for the Chiefs. So, I mean, got to give them credit for that.
Chiefs fought hard in regular season. All right, not going to lie about that, but Titans pretty much made it easy.
Exactly.
Dolphins gave us that bye week as well. So
shout out Ryan Fitzpatrick. We love him.
Yeah, that's why we love him. That's why we love
exactly.
Him.
Yeah.
Gave us that bye week. Gave us that Super Bowl championship.
I mean, not only does he have a fantastic beard, he's just a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Super solid guy for the Chiefs. So yeah,
he probably loves Pat Mahomes.
Definitely, he does. Yeah.
And then, you got the Texans and Jags.
Yeah, Texans. I do want to talk about the Texans. They started 0-4, and they've done pretty good ever since. And Deshaun Watson, you look at him, he is definitely a franchise guy. They've just got to figure out how to build a team around him. I mean, the coaching staff has just been terrible when you look at it. Firing Bill O'Brien, who's got a weird chin, and bringing in Romeo Crennel, I'm not sure about that decision. I'm not sure about making him the head coach, because we all remember him back in Kansas City when he was the head coach in 2012, going 2-14. So that's not good. That's obviously a horrible record for a head coach, but to his credit, they have done better with Romeo Crennel as the head coach. So Bill O'Brien, he doesn't have a job right now, and he is just not a good head coach.
Yeah, Texans had a really rough season start. They played 3 best teams in the AFC, I believe. Us, Ravens, and the Steelers. Going on a 2-win streak right now, so kind of a little bit of a comeback here against the Patriots and the Lions.
Yeah, lost a close one to the Browns. So.
Yep, they did.
And that goes back to the Browns being able to pull out of close games.
They play the Colts on Sunday,
and
then they play them again. Game. They play them again the next season after the Bears, or the next week after the Bears.
Next season.
The next week after the Bears.
Definitely.
So what is that? Week 14. Yeah, week 14 they play the Colts again.
Yeah.
So 2 very potential games for them.
Yeah, they've got
And they'll lose against the Titans, sadly.
yeah,
week
probably.
17. So.
Yeah. So.
And then,
That's the entire AFC. We pretty much ran down everything we wanted to talk about there. So we're going to go to the NFC East, and this is a division that absolutely upsets me. Now, it's super sad that the way the NFL playoffs works, all right, it's just disappointing that one of these teams are going to make the playoffs. It's just not right. It's not right in my mind. It's just wrong, okay? And then you look at the division right under the NFC East, the NFC West. They've got 3 solid playoff contending teams. You look at last place in the NFC West, they're good enough to be first place in the NFC East. That's ridiculous. That's just wrong.
It is wrong.
But with that being said, I love you, Alex Smith. You're going to do it for us. Okay, you're going to win that division. All right. You know, it is what it is, and I'm super happy about it.
Before you rant some more, I just want to say it's the Giants, Washington football team, Eagles, and the Cowboys. All right, it's the highest they're going right now is 4-7 in that division. So it's just not looking great for any of those teams. But I'm really hoping Washington football team does make the playoffs. That'd be pretty sick.
Exactly. Seeing
That'd
Alex
be
Smith
pretty
in the playoffs,
sick.
I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to see that as a Chiefs fan? I mean, Alex Smith has done so much for our organization.
Coming off of a nasty injury, that'd be pretty.
Exactly.
That'd be pretty freaking cool.
Definitely going to win Comeback Player of the Year, especially if he leads the Washington football team to the playoffs. That would be incredibly sexy. I mean, come on.
I mean, not on a good record for sure, but still, playoffs.
But I mean, to his credit, they're on a 2-game winning streak. I believe his record is 2-2 as a starter, and they've actually got a tough schedule coming up. So hopefully Alex Smith can pull it out of there. Man, I'm really hoping that he does well against the Steelers, which I think he has to end up playing next week. So that's going to be a tough game. Probably a loss, but
their schedule real quick.
We'll see
what they're playing. Yeah, they're playing the Steelers, Niners, Seahawks, Panthers,
Eagles. Yeah, Panthers and Eagles are probably going to be the 2 easiest games for the rest of their schedule. 49ers is a very solid group, I think, but obviously they've been injury riddled throughout their
I think Kittle's probably going to be back by then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I'm not sure, what the timetable is on Jimmy G, but he's been out for a while, and they've had a couple of bad injuries, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
I think the Niners' morale is just kind of overall.
They're not feeling good, especially being
great.
Yeah, especially being in the NFC West, where they've got 3 teams that are very clearly, better than them. I mean, the NFC West is stacked.
Yep.
So, yeah, but anyway, moving on to the NFC West. Who do you think is going to win that division? Because I've got, a hot take for you here. Because I think the Rams are going to end up pulling this one out over the Seahawks.
Yeah,
in my personal opinion.
The Rams going 7-4, Seahawks going 8-3. This is another close contender for who's getting in the playoffs. But just like we were talking about with the NFC East, like they could take some spots over, say, the Cardinals. Even Cardinals are going 6-5, and if they could win some of their games, could have 3 teams that could go in there, but they got to put one of the crappy teams in there because that's how that's how the rules work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Rams could very easily overtake the Seahawks.
I mean, when you look at it, the Packers are on pace to be the 2nd seed, and they're going to end up having to play the Washington football team or the New York Giants. I mean, that is just a very pathetic, sad game. Wouldn't it be way more entertaining if they were playing the Cardinals? Wouldn't it be such a like a way more better game? I mean, whoever squeaks in the 7th seed is just going to be. Well, actually, you know what? That's wrong. When I think about it, whoever wins that NFC, the NFC East. Am I blanking on the NFC East? Whoever wins that division is going to be the 4th seed because that's just how it works. So they're going to end up playing the 5th seed. So whoever ends up being the 5th seed, congratulations, you got an easy win.
Contender for the Cardinals, or the Seahawks, or the Rams. Never know.
So I'll go ahead and talk about why I think the Rams are going to win the division. I think the Seahawks, when you look at their defense, it's been atrocious so far this year. And I think even if they do make the playoffs, I think they're going to end up making the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the division, but I think they're going to end up making the playoffs with Russell Wilson being a solid guy for them. They're not going to do anything because Russell Wilson, I mean, when you look at the way he's played the past few years, obviously making the Super Bowl for 2 years in a row back in 2014 and 2015. But overall, I mean, he's just been disappointing in the playoffs over the past few years, especially. A first and second round exit pretty much every single year for Russell Wilson. It's just been sad. So I think the Rams when you look at the Rams, I mean, they've just got a super solid group, and Jared Goff's still their guy. Aaron Donald's still a beast on that defense. Jalen Ramsey is playing out of his mind so far this year, and Sean McVay, very talented head coach. So I think they've got a very, very, very talented group. and I think they're going to win the division. So, NFC North. What do you think about the NFC North?
Packers, because
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah,
close contender we got is the Vikings and the Bears, and they're both 5-6. So
exactly.
Bears coming off 5 losses in a row. That's not good.
Yeah, after starting the season 5-1, so.
Oh yeah, they were 5-1. Now they're 5-6. Not that great.
Yeah,
I actually want to look at their schedule and who they played. Okay, well, so they played Rams, Saints, Titans, Vikings, Packers.
Yeah, so those are all solid.
So they've
teams.
had 4 teams that are pretty freaking good.
Vikings, I would
Except for
say,
the
the
Vikings.
worst among them.
Yeah.
But they narrowly won that game. So.
They won it by 6 points.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, tough schedule for the Bears right there.
Tough schedule for the Bears. And then they got the Lions, Texans, Vikings, Jags, Packers. So,
Yeah, so.
that's a potential 4 games for them.
Bears will probably end up going 5-7. Or not 5-7, 6-10. 6-10 or 7-9, in my opinion. I think it's probably a good record for the Bears.
Yeah, for sure.
They kind of gave up on Nick Foles last week and started Mitch Trubisky, who, I'll remind you guys, was the 3rd overall pick in the 2017 draft, and Patrick Mahomes was 10. So, sorry, Bears fans, but
take that,
had to
Bears.
give it to you. But, yeah, take the L, Bears fans. I'm sure they've been thinking about it a lot because Mitchell Trubisky is just trash. I mean, he proved it last game. He's just horrible. So, yeah, that's pretty much the NFC North, honestly. And you look at the Lions, they're 4-7, last in the division. Matthew Stafford has been their quarterback for quite a while, and I think it's time to move on.
I think it's 2009 he was drafted.
Exactly, yeah. It's been
He's
over
been on
a
the
decade.
Lions the whole time.
Yeah, he's been the starter on the Lions for the entire time. I think he's made the playoffs 3 times with the Lions, but they've been first-round exits in every single year that he's made the playoffs with the Lions. So I think, honestly, for the Lions, it's time to move on from Matthew Stafford. I mean, when you look at it, their defense is pretty bad too. I mean, so it can't entirely be Matthew Stafford's fault, but
Yeah.
and plus they just fired their head coach not a few days ago. So I mean, Lions are kind of a train wreck, but yeah, NFC South is the last division we got to cover. So take it away from the NFC South.
Got the Saints going 9-2 on a hot streak here, 8 wins in a row.
Longest streak.
Meanwhile,
in
the
football.
Bucks are falling behind, 7-5. I think that's a pretty good streak for the dream team that Bruce Arians has, kind of whipped up here.
Yeah, just kind of threw everything together.
Except for kind of you said in one of the previous Chief chats, they got too many weapons, man. They got too many.
Yeah.
You just can't have that many.
Exactly, and having those many, that many guys, and they've all either been, they're all either current they're all either current All-Stars or they've been All-Stars in the past. So they expect the ball, they expect a lot of touches, and that can't be good for morale. Everybody wanting the ball, and everybody not, there's only so many plays in an NFL game. Everybody can't get the ball 20 times, so it's tough for guys like Mike Godwin and Chris, not Mike. God, what am I saying? What is his name? Godwin. Chris Godwin. Is it Chris?
I don't know.
Chris Godwin? I forget his name. Godwin and Mike Evans. Those 2 guys who have been in the offense for quite a while are probably, feeling pretty bad about themselves considering they don't get a lot of touches anymore because they've got Antonio Brown, they've got Leonard Fournette, they've got
Leonard Fournette.
just so many new guys. Rob Gronkowski, a lot of mouths to feed, and they're not getting a lot of the food anymore. So they can't
by the way, on
can't be too
the
happy
previous
about that.
game, I didn't even see AB get the ball that much.
Exactly.
At
I mean,
all.
he was almost a
and
non-factor.
AB is like best wide receiver of all time.
Yeah, definitely one of the best. Yeah, and
one of the best.
Was an All-Pro with the Steelers, and
Yep.
We all know Antonio Brown. I'm surprised he even has a job right now.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
yeah, that's pretty much it. The Falcons and the Panthers are 4-7 and 4-8. They've got absolutely no shot at contending in this division. So, that's it for this Chiefs chat.
Yeah, not much to talk about with the Falcons and the Panthers.
Yeah, exactly.
Season's already coming to an end.
Yeah, and they've
Was it week 12?
yeah, I've just concluded week 12, going into week 13. So.
Well, not necessarily. There's a game today. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Finishing up week 12. So.
Finishing up week 12, there's a game today, which
Yeah.
ended
Ended up
one
getting
for the
pushed
Ravens.
back.
We'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah.
Lost last time against the Steelers.
RG3 is starting tonight, and the thing about RG3 is I think he fits well into the offense, considering the fact that he's a mobile guy and the Ravens offense, they don't need to pass the ball a lot because that's just how their system works. They are a running football team, and everybody knows that. So they've got a lot of designed plays for running the ball, and I think RG3 can succeed in that system, but I think Mike Tomlin's going to end up figuring out how to defeat that, and he's going to win this game. But that's all we got for Chiefs Chat episode 22. Trenton Hendricks, he's an incredible, sexy man. Thank him for being on this Chiefs Chat. It was fantastic, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Chiefs Chat. Peace out.